Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Harrisburg City Council Legislative Session. Today is Tuesday, June 22nd, 2021. I'm calling this meeting to order at 6 o'clock p.m. Mr. Petrosky, please do the roll call.
Mr. Allett. Present. Ms. Bowers. Ms. Daniels. Ms. Green.
Present.
Mr. Madsen. Here. Mr. Majors.
Here.
Ms. Williams.
Present, thank you. Ms. Bowers is excused for this evening. Mr. Petrosky. Thank you. We now will move on to invocation, and I will be doing the invocation tonight. I first want to say prayers, send prayers out to our Harrisburg City Councilwoman, Danielle Bowers, who was hurt and injured on Saturday at an event. We send prayers out to her and for a speedy recovery. We then move on to offer our condolences and prayers to the Spencer family, as well as the Nora Wilson family. And then I want to move on and give honor to a wonderful ex-state representative. So please join me this evening to pay a memorial tribute to a mild, soft-spoken, Ferris advocate, not only for the constituents in the 103rd House Legislative District, the former state rep, Ronald Buxton, a gentle giant who fought tirelessly to improve the lives of all residents of Harrisburg, Stilton, and Harrisburg, whether assisting a family in need of a place to live or reside, whether a family needed a refrigerator or a stove. Mr. Ronald Buxton was always there to assist everyone. Representative Ron Buxton will truly be missed by all. Tonight, Harrisburg City Council would like to extend their condolences and prayers to the family. Personally, rest in peace, my friend. You truly have earned your wings. A moment of silence, please. Thank you, everyone. We now will move on to the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Dave Madsen.
United States of America.
Thank you, Councilman Madsen. We now move on to communications. And tonight, before we start, I just want to make sure that the public is informed of why we are having an in-person meeting this evening. Due to the cancellation of COVID-19, statewide emergency authorizations by the General Assembly, the city is returning to in-person meetings for the City Council and all boards and commissions. The public can still tune in live, but public participation during the meeting will need to be limited to those physically present at the meeting until new rules are adopted by the General Assembly or City Council, which in fact we will be discussing publicly in the near future. We apologize for any inconvenience this may cause, but we are in uncharted territory and are doing the best we can to move the city forward during this time. With that being said, we will have 2 more meetings before summer hiatus. We will be adding a work session next week, June 29th at 5:30 p.m. And our final meeting will be on July 6th at 6 p.m. We will return from our recess on August 24th, 2021. I thank you all for understanding and your cooperation. Moving on to courtesy of the floor. At this point, I would address anyone who would like to come before City Council. I will start to my right. Anyone to my right that would like to come to the mic? Moving on. And please limit your time to 2 minutes.
Yes, Pam Parson, 1820 Holly Street. I would just like to address the short notice and going back to in-person meetings. I would not have been aware that tonight was in person unless because someone tagged me on Facebook is the only reason why I would have known that. I believe you mentioned, Council President, that we would go back to in-person meetings following the summer hiatus. So I think a lot of people were caught off guard.
I apologize, Ms. Parsons. We were caught off guard as well. Anyone else? Thank you.
Hi, I apologize for walking in late. My name is Laura Harding. My address is 2246 North 3rd Street. I sent an email to council members a few weeks ago regarding some issues with zoning and the city website with lack of notice, lack of public publishing of the agenda, and lack of minutes of meetings being published. And the only person who responded to me was Mr. Majors, and I appreciate his response to that. Now, it has come to my attention that there has been a serious issue with lack of public notice and a discrepancy and direct conflict with what is on the application for zoning variance. It directs applicant to give notice to residents in a 100-foot radius, which is in conflict with the actual zoning variance of the city has adopted and the Pennsylvania guidelines and code for giving notice. So this, I believe, goes back all the way to 2014. So there's an issue with residents being unaware and unable to give public comment because about what is affecting their neighborhood and development in their neighborhood. And now there are 2 incidents in Uptown, my neighborhood, and a proposal that just came to my attention yesterday on Division Street. And it appears that the developers want Uptown now. They're trying to move into Uptown like they did in Midtown and Old Uptown, which I don't think there is such a thing as Old Uptown. There's Uptown and that's it to me. But it's really, really interesting who they notify and who they don't notify in their letters. So for me, they only notified the 2200 block on my side of the street of North 3rd Street. They didn't notify anybody on Penn or Green Street, Woodbine Street, or Emerald Street. And as far as Division Street is concerned, they didn't notify anybody on North 5th Street. They only notified a handful of people on Division Street. Why is that? I mean, I have my suspicions, so you can draw your own conclusions, but I really think that it is in the city's best interest to start publishing the agenda on the website for the planning commission meetings and the zoning hearing board meetings, and not the day of, because Jeffrey Knight is posting the agenda hours before the meeting. That is not okay. The residents who get a copy of a letter saying, oh, this applicant is proposing this change, and then when they get to see the applicant once it's posted with the agenda, is completely different from what they were told. So I think the city has put itself in legal jeopardy with this. And I suggest the changes are made quickly because the agenda should be posted not the day of. The application should be available to all those affected. The minutes to all of the meetings going back from the last year should be published very quickly. And the application itself that directs applicants to only notify people within 100-foot radius should be updated to reflect the actual zoning code. Thank you.
Thank you. We will certainly look into that. Anyone else? To my right. In the middle.
Good evening. My name is Blaine Stoddard. I represent RB Development. And we are developing an affordable housing project at 6th and Her Street, known as Bethel Village. And I just wanted to thank the city council so far, Madam President, for at least talking to us. And the talking is going to continue. We had the project, just to inform all of city council, we'll be coming to all of you, and hopefully we can meet with you next week, Madam President. We did have all the financing for the project. Good to see you, Councilman Natson. And Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency invested almost $13 million in the project. Because of COVID-19, and because everybody stayed home and started fixing up their houses, and because we had a trade war with China, Canada, and Mexico, and because there was a shortage of wood and all building materials, the cost of the project has increased 1.2 million. And so we are going back to PHFA, and we'll be coming back to you, Council President, and to City Council, to look at some type of assistance to cover the 1.2 million in cost overruns. Not because of anything that we did, but because of the COVID-19 pandemic, and because the cost of building materials, anybody in the building field would know that the cost of building materials has gone up 300%. We do not want to lose this $13 million that we have been working on for 2.5 years for the city of Harrisburg. 71% of the people that live in Harrisburg qualify for affordable housing. I will repeat that. 71% of the people that live in the city of Harrisburg qualify for affordable housing. We are talking to zoning, we're talking to planning, and we're talking to the Historic Commission. And they've all been favorable. Obviously, they want what they want, but they've all been favorable and reasonable with us for this project. We will be having a community meeting next Monday, the 28th, at Good Brothers Cafe for all the people that live near 6th and Her, and for the 2 community groups that are active in Midtown. And we will be telling the community everything that we know. But we're really excited to be working on this project. And then there's another project called Cornish Heights on Bailey Street after this project, which would put another 30 units of affordable housing in the city of Harrisburg. Last but not least, and to piggyback off something that the young lady said, you know, there are private developers in Harrisburg that are doing private development. And nothing is wrong with that. But affordable housing enhances the community in that, number one, it supports market rate development. But number two, it gives the residents of Harrisburg, 71% of whom qualify for affordable housing, it gives them more housing options so that they can also live in a brand new place. And so we're really excited about this. I know we're in the middle of negotiations with Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency and Madam Chair with the City Council, but we're really, really excited. We're committed to Harrisburg. I'm gonna move here if I have to. We're really excited about Harrisburg and Dauphin County and the possibilities for this region. And we've done housing in Erie, we've done housing in New Jersey, we've done housing in Philadelphia. Well, we've helped people build affordable housing. And we're excited to bring our knowledge to Dauphin County and to the city of Harrisburg. And I just want to thank you. I have here a flyer. Am I allowed to give it to the city council people?
Would you give us, what time is this meeting on June 28th?
The meeting is at 5:30 at Good Brothers Cafe. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else in the middle, please?
George Williams, City of Harrisburg employee, owner of property in the city. Madam President, I just wanted to know if you can go into details in regards to resolution 47 and 48. As an employee, I want to know what retirement consists of, what the documentation If you have any information that you can get to me. Little concerned about if that relates to people that are existing, that are invested versus people coming in the door. Little concerned about fire and police, or fire and ASME coming together. Things. So I know there's OPEG and all that other, but I'm concerned. And it's my retirement that we're talking about.
I'm
not
sure.
yours.
Just let me say to you, please, Keisha, that resolution 47 will be on the work session next Tuesday. I invite you to come in. And so we will have the representatives here present that you can ask any questions. Okay. You're welcome. Is there anything else? Anyone to my left? Thank you. We now move forward to approval of minutes. Approval of minutes for the legislative session of June 8th, 2021. Council members, any omissions, corrections, or deletions? Hearing none, minutes will stand approved. We now move on to reports of committees. Report from Chair Allett on the work session of June 15th, 2021. Mr. Allett, are you ready with your report?
I am, thank you. At the work session on June 15th, we had up for discussion Resolution 46 of 2021, which was the fourth proposed 2021 budget reallocation. There were several components to this. I'll try to summarize the best I can, all the various moving parts with it. Part of the resolution was reimbursement from grants and donations and putting them in the correct accounts to reimburse where the cost was incurred. To replace 2 vans under the vehicle services account, to replace third floor carpet in the planning department, to move funds from revenue to provide for an HVAC system for the Harrisburg Senators, to provide funds for the Harrisburg disparity study, to reconcile public safety funds to the correct accounts, to allocate funds for the M&T building project for public works, and also provide funding for Dauphin County Park rental. So those were all the various components that were part of the fourth proposed budget reallocation. And I encourage my colleagues to vote in affirmation of the resolution. And that concludes my notes on.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Allett. We now will move on to ordinance for amendment. We have none this evening. Ordinance for final passage, we have none. We now move on to resolutions. Resolution 46 of 2021. Mr. Petrosky, please read that into record.
Resolution 46 of 2021 is a resolution approving the fourth proposed 2021 budget reallocation.
Any additional questions or comments, council members? On resolution 47, I'm sorry, 46. Hearing none, please call the vote, Mr. Petrosky.
Mr. Allett,
Yes.
Ms. Bowers, Ms. Daniels, Ms. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Madsen,
Yes.
Mr. Majors,
yes,
Ms. Williams.
Yes.
Resolution 46 passes.
Thank you. Moving on to resolution 47 of 2021.
Resolution 47 of 2021 is a resolution approving an updated base plan document adoption agreement and related amendments for the firefighter retirement system with the Pennsylvania Municipal Retirement System.
That will be placed in Budget and Finance Committee. Moving on to resolution 48.
Resolution 48 of 2021 is a resolution approving an updated base plan document adoption agreement, related amendments for the non-uniform municipal employees retirement system and the Pennsylvania Municipal Retirement System.
That also will be placed in Budget and Finance Committee. Moving on to resolution 49.
Resolution 49 of 2021 is a resolution approving the appointment of David West as the Director of Public Works.
That will be placed in Administration Committee. Moving on to resolution 50.
Resolution 50 of 2021 is a resolution authorizing the city to negotiate and enter into agreements with Cordier Auctions and Appraisals and the estate of Stephen R. Reed to dispose of certain artifacts, objects, and documents by auction.
That will be placed in Budget and Finance Committee. Moving on to resolution 51.
Resolution 51 of 2021 is a resolution of the Council of the City of Harrisburg to approve the adoption of updated historic district design and preservation guidelines.
That will be placed in Building and Housing Committee. Moving on to resolution 52.
Resolution 52 of 2021 is a resolution approving the disposal and destruction of certain personal property owned by the City of Harrisburg, which has exhausted its useful life for city operations or has nominal value or no value or less value than disposal cost.
And also will be placed in Building and Housing Committee. Moving on to Resolution 53.
Resolution 53 of 2021 is a resolution approving the preliminary final land development plan to establish a 15-unit tiny home village for homeless veterans, along with a community center and associated site improvements at 1103 South Front Street.
That will be placed in Community and Economic Development Committee. Moving on to Resolution 54.
Resolution 54 of 2021 is a resolution approving a preliminary final land development plan to convert an existing vacant building into a mixed-use building featuring office space and multifamily dwelling units at 2830 North Cameron Street.
That also will be placed in Community and Economic Development. We now move on to old business, and I understand, Mr. Majors, you wanted to speak about the cancellation of meetings on Zoom. Did you want to address that to Mr. Grover?
No, with respect, first on old business, if we're there, the first piece of old business I had, and I don't know if Councilwoman Green has received anything different or the Law Bureau has any update on the quarterly reports.
No, I have not. I was going to bring that up as well. I haven't received any quarterly reports from the police, nor have I gotten any update. I did expect for someone from the police department to be here tonight, as I have requested that they come give the report tonight, and I have not heard anything. So I would ask the city clerk if we could make a formal request to the police department in writing to attend next week's meeting and to come with the report for the last year from July of 2020 until till present of 2021. Including the number of police complaints as well as the number of arrests by police district broken down by quarter.
Okay, anything else, Mr. Majors?
No, so like I said, we just got this document earlier about the primer on public meetings and the rights. So Mr. Grover, I guess it's my understanding. I just want to make sure that the public is clear on the timing on when the notices went out. I was able to look in the public notices on Penn Live and note that I believe it was our city clerk who put in on Friday a document noting that we would have in-person meetings on Tuesday. Is that correct? Okay. All right. And then the additional notice went out via a press release from the city on Monday, more than 24 hours in advance of this meeting. Is that correct, Mr. Grover?
As far as I know, what the Sunshine Act requires is the publication in the Patriot News, the Central Penn Business Journal,
Okay.
at least 24 hours in advance. And I understood it was published in accordance with that requirement. We were sort of thrust with not any notice from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania back into this format. They gave no lead time to adjust, and they simply terminated all of the rights to have the virtual meetings in one fell swoop. And what our office has done is put together an overview of the council and the city's rights related to public meetings, rules, regulations that you are authorized to adopt and to adjust from the lessons of COVID, I would say. I think you've seen virtual participation had its benefits around the world. But right now, there is no authority to do it. And the council does have authority to make some additional rules and ordinances, not just for this body, but for its planning commission, its other boards, all of those things. They're all in the Sunshine Act world. And, there's been great benefit economically and otherwise to have people not have to travel, not have to be here, and to present for 10 minutes instead of sitting for 4 hours, when you need your engineer or your architect to come into a meeting. There's been benefits across the board. The public gets to hear it without having to find a parking space downtown. So we would encourage that the rules do get changed, and we're happy to assist with that. But it will take some thought and some crafting to do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like I said, we're all digesting this as was noted. The General Assembly did terminate the declaration, I believe it's June 10th or 15th. So it only gave us a very limited amount of time to, change the direction of how we're doing things. So I think that encompassed with maybe some additional protocols for how we're going to do public meetings would be great. And I think that's a conversation that we're all looking forward to have. So I think Mr. Allett may have something else.
Just building on that, I believe if I recall from when we were getting started, that this would begin with our council rules.
One of the places it's in, so you have to amend your council rules, but that's by resolution.
Right.
Because the council is a legislative body and doesn't control the employees or operations of executive departments, you need to have ordinance as well in order to make sure technology is made available in the future for the public and for the departments, so that, it's clear what the direction is in conducting the meetings. So what you don't want to do is dictate it by resolution and have no microphones or have other issues, no computer terminals available. So you do have to sort of take two parts to the process.
Do we know what our resolution is for council rules? I know we do it at the beginning of every legislative session after new council is sworn in, right?
Well, that's worth discussing because traditionally, not just the city of Harrisburg, but legislative bodies adopt rules at the beginning of the start of a session. This body has very often just let the rules be as they are. The last time you did it was in 2018. I would encourage the council to get a working group together because the president and the vice president council are departing. There's a lot of lessons from COVID about how to meet and to come up with recommendations, for adoption at the beginning for next year. So they're there for the whole session and not being worked on as soon as, because it'll take months to work on them otherwise.
Can we send that back? I mean, I remember when we did it in 2018. That was the first time I remember us changing it since when I came on. So get that at least around school, what's there now. Would that come from you, Kirk? Or?
Yeah, I think in 2018, the big change was the
The
additions to
of the
the
whole.
committees and adding different
Right.
language
Right,
and
work sessions.
responsibilities.
Yeah.
But I can resend it to everyone so you can look at it.
And then I guess, again, just on that note, since we're still on that, are temporary rules able to be adopted for the remainder of this year? So you would put something in place that would only run through the current session and then contemplate new rules. Again, I'm trying to figure out a balance since we're going to have a few more meetings prior to session, our hiatus. But if we're having the remainder of this session, which goes to the end of the calendar year, if there are some temporary rules that could be in place for virtual meeting and things of that nature.
Frankly, my imagination hasn't stretched that far yet. We're willing to give it an analysis in the Law Bureau for how to do it. We couldn't do it before you go on break
Right.
July 6th.
Yeah.
But over the summer, we could really crack down. What we're hoping, frankly, and I think some of this is happening, is the Hill's going to fix the problem it created. And that'll make life a little bit easier. Whether they do it, I don't know.
Yeah.
But they're getting complaints in every direction.
Give them so much credit.
Well, I'm a believer in government, it's actually, so, yeah. But either way, we can work on getting you something. An executive order would be the typical way to do it, and that's obviously can't dictate the legislative function. So, but to make the city staff available to make that happen, it would take both an executive order and a change the rules of council at the same time, and that may be doable. So,
And I think too, I want to be mindful of, to your point about changing council rules, that we're going to have a new council coming in 20. So we can set this up, in terms of.
and there's nothing preventing this council from inviting primary winners to the table for that discussion before they're here. But it's not a vote, it's just input. Just like you're going to vote the public or a professional or the Hill or anyone else to that discussion on what you think is efficient.
Yeah, and I think we have a short window here again over the summer. I think we'll know pretty soon if the General Assembly is going to make any changes prior to them finishing a budget. Then they'll be on hiatus just about as long as us. So if we can over the summer maybe have a small working group to talk about temporary rules, because again, I think we've all seen through COVID we had a lot more public participation than we have typically received in our normal council meetings. And I think all of us appreciate public having more access to our meetings. I don't want that to, be diminished through the end of the year. So look forward to having that conversation.
There is a bill that passed the Senate, I think 49-0 or something like that, to amend the Sunshine Act a little bit. Whether that becomes a vehicle between the two houses to add other amendments, I think.
Yeah, we'll see in the next couple of weeks, I think. So thank you. No further old business.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gervais. Is there anyone else on your old business?
Yes, President Williams. I just want to thank the public, the staff, and my colleagues for attending the town halls we hosted regarding the comprehensive plan. And just talk a little bit about next steps moving forward. So we're at a phase now where council can start reviewing and amending the document. But I think first we need to articulate to the community when is it sort of their last call to submit feedback to us. And then we will have to have a hearing that's publicly notified to the public for going over the plan. And so look forward to working with the administration on those next steps and articulating to my colleagues and getting the message out to the community.
Anyone else? Okay, moving on to new business. Council members, any new business? Ms. Green?
Just a reminder that Harrisburg firefighters are accepting applications. So if anyone is interested in becoming a firefighter, please feel free to come down to the city building or go online. It is a very interesting career. And I say career because it can be a lifelong career here in Harrisburg. So just we're looking especially for some of our younger citizens to really apply to those positions. So please go online. Feel free to call me if you need it printed out or anything. So thank you. That's it.
Okay. Anyone else under new business?
Yes, President Williams.
Okay, Mr. Majors.
On behalf of Councilwoman Daniels, I also wanted to make a plug for our Parks and Recreation Committee, our Park and Recreation Department. They're currently hiring for summer employment. Particularly, we're looking for lifeguards to be able to staff the pools. I know a recent notification went out to the public that the pools would not be opening when we had initially thought. So we are in need of lifeguards and pool staff and additional staff for our summer employment programs. So if individuals are interested, you can go to the newly revamped City of Harrisburg website and go to Parks and Recreation and be able to pull an application for employment so that we can have our continue our summer programs that we have done in the past and get our pools properly staffed so that they can be open to our public during the summer. So they can be enjoyed by all involved and all the residents of the city of Harrisburg.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Majors. Again, anyone else? Well, finally, I want to, from Harrisburg City Council, I want to extend best wishes to Momin as he embarks on a new career, and we wish him well on his future endeavors. Momin, are you still there? Okay, he has left, but best wishes, Momin. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Meeting is officially adjourned. Thank you all.